your third and final portfolio piece. Congratulations on getting this far. You should all have in front of you your yellow Prewriting Your Analysis packet I just handed you. It should look exactly like what's in front of the screen right now. For this essay, as it was described in your purple packet, you are going to pick a meaningful passage or section of a chapter from To Kill a Mockingbird that gives a very vivid description of a character or of a particular setting or an important conflict. You are then going to think about how this one very small moment helps to develop any one of the many themes that we explored in To Kill a Mockingbird. That could be the theme of the cruelty that people show one another because of prejudice. It could be the importance of moral education, the loss of innocence, the importance of compassion, understanding, and accepting others' differences, the need to accept social change, or another one if that seems appropriate. Right now, what I would like for you to do is pick the passage that you will write about. Again, it has to have a very detailed description of the character, and you will focus specifically on that character. It has to give a very vivid description of the setting, or it needs to explain some sort of unique conflict. I want you to pick out one passage now that does one of those three things, and then I want you to pick out a theme that passage helps develop. Please pause the video now and select your passage. It can be as short as a paragraph or a couple. It could be a couple pages. It's really up to you, as long as you are focusing on one of these three things and how one of these three things helps build to one of these. So again, pause the video now to select your passage. Great. Now that you have your passage and you know which theme that you are going to argue for, take out a separate sheet of paper and create an It Says, I Says notes to help you pre-write for your essay. That will look just like this table here, which is on the second page of your passage, or your package, excuse me. In this It Says column, you will be pulling quotations or rough paraphrases from your passage that you have deemed noteworthy. So this will kind of focus, or kind of emulate rather, the annotations that we did together as a class last week. So you will pick out the things that are important that you think are really helping to develop that theme. Then over in the I Say column, you are figuring out how exactly you are going to argue that those quotes and paraphrases help develop your theme. So for example, if I'm pulling out these words, Old Town, Tired Old Town, from the passage here in the It Says column, I'm pulling those out to argue that Maycomb is old-fashioned, that it is tired because it was tired from the past, that it's not living in the present and not looking toward the future. I'm pulling out these details about the rain causing the streets to turn to red slop in the next row here to show that the town is not handling things well. It doesn't handle rain well, and it doesn't continue to deal with change well. So I'm developing here this idea that Maycomb is old-fashioned, and that its old-fashioned ways are no longer serving itself in the present time. That these men's collars and the ladies' makeup is not suited for the weather or for the present. It's not mixing well with the reality that they face. And you can go on to read these examples on your own. So I'd like for you now to pause the video, continue reading through my example of it says, I say, and then I want for you to do the same. This should take you the longest portion of this chunk of time. You should really, really pick apart each little teeny tiny word in your passage and think about how that will help to develop your theme. I suggest that at this point you take a good 20 minutes to develop your It Says, I Say notes. Pause the video and create those now. Now that you have a table that looks something like mine here, your next step is to figure out how to begin to consider organizing your essay. You now have these rough notes, but they are in no particular order in all likelihood. Now you need to take your I Say column and think about how these notes that you've jotted down begin to form into organized claims, how this all develops into evidence that will support individual claims. Now, just like the other essays, I'm not mandating that you have any certain number of paragraphs, just as long as it says in this purple packet, it comes to a total of 3 to 4 pages. Okay? So, the way that you will think about how to organize this information into paragraph claims is you will build a web like you should find on the 4th page of your yellow packet. Please turn to my web on the 4th page of your yellow packet. In creating that web, I did this. I first thought about how the various pieces of my puzzle that I've created here begin to form together. I saw, okay, all of this is showing that the town is old. All of this is showing that they're not handling the town infrastructure, the way the town is built is not handling its circumstances well. The individual people aren't handling the circumstances well. And that the people are happy with where they are, but again, it's not working. They have nothing to buy and nothing to buy it with. So from that, I built a web that begins to form claims and begins to consider the pieces of evidence that I will use to support those claims. So at this point, I'm not ready to jump into creating a thesis. Instead, I'm just working on the individual claims that will then come together to form my thesis. So I went ahead and I created my bubble for claim 1 and pieced that together as you see on the yellow packet before you. Then claim 2, claim 3, claim 4. Again, you can have as many claims as you think your essay really needs. And then I saw, okay, this is all dealing with it being old-fashioned. This is dealing with it not handling the societal needs as a town. This is all about the people not handling their societal needs. And this is all about how the town seems pleased with their present situation, but the fact that their present situation truthfully isn't serving them well. So I came to my thinking and I said, okay, how do all 4 of these pieces tie into one whole? Well, I'm focusing on setting, so I know my thesis will begin something along the lines of, in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, the description of setting. But what is this all relating to? This is all relating to this theme of needing to accept social change or needing to move on from tradition. So my thesis, as I wrote in the center here as my last step of the pre-writing, and as you can see here in my example essay, my thesis became, in Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, Lee's initial description of the story's setting emphasizes her theme of needing to progress beyond tradition and accept social change. That encompasses every piece that I am talking about here. So you now have the remainder of the time shown on the board to create this web. This is due as soon as that timer is up. Best of luck. If you need to rewind to any point in this video, I really suggest that you do so. If it would help you to read through my essay to see what your end goal should look like, please do so. You will also find that much of what I've just said in this video can be found written out on this first page of the packet. So again, steps 3, 4, and 5 are due as soon as that timer is up. Best of luck. You've got this.